Hello BTS lovers. What happens when the quietest member of BTS suddenly lowers his head with teary eyes among hundreds of soldiers? How does a typically calm Jimin suddenly speak up and describe a relationship as more than just ordinary closeness? This moment is not just touching, it's shocking. Behind the walls of the 5th Division military barracks, which have long upheld resilience and discipline, lies a confession that had remained hidden from the public eye for years. And now it is all coming to light slowly but surely. Jungkook, the youngest BTS member who has always been private about his personal life, finally revealed a side of himself that only those closest to him have seen. Just weeks before completing his military service, he could no longer hold back his emotions as he disclosed a truth that changed many people's perception of who he is and who has always been by his side. More than that, how Jimin, his best friend and fellow BTS member and soldier, responded to this confession became a touching turning point for many. For nearly the past 2 years, Jungkook and Jimin have served under the 5th Division. Even though their status as global superstars was never flaunted, no one could ignore their magnetic presence among the other soldiers. However, beneath their discipline, humility, and loyalty as servicemen, a more personal dynamic had grown day by day. As shared by several of their fellow soldiers in the barracks, Jungkook and Jimin were two figures almost never seen apart, not only during duties, but also in daily life. Always together, always looking out for one another, and understanding each other without needing many words. The story began to surface when an informal soldiers' dinner session turned into a reflective moment before parting ways. In a nostalgic atmosphere, a soldier asked Jimin about his closeness with Jungkook. Unusually, Jimin did not avoid the question. With a small but deep smile, he said, "We understand each other, more than words can explain." That simple sentence quickly spread among their peers, sparking whispers and questions. Is this just a close friendship, or is there a deeper feeling that has long been kept hidden? Soon after, in a more personal moment, Jungkook gave an even more surprising confession. In front of several senior soldiers, with a slightly trembling voice, he said, "I've held on to something for too long, a feeling I never expressed." Though he did not explicitly state to whom the feeling was directed, everyone understood the implication. Some said that afterward, Jungkook was seen sitting alone for quite some time, gazing at the night sky above the barracks as if releasing a burden he had long carried in silence. The atmosphere in the 5th Division shifted. From merely anticipating the return of two major stars, attention turned to something much more personal. What had really developed between Jungkook and Jimin all this time? Soldiers close to them revealed that their bond was nothing new. "We knew they were close, but we didn't realize how deep that bond was until now," said one of their comrades. What made the situation even more emotional was the fact that it all happened near the final days of their military service. The soldiers who had spent 2 full years alongside them now had to face the reality that the two individuals they respected, admired, and loved the most would soon leave. At an unofficial farewell gathering, the entire barracks sang BTS songs as a form of tribute. Jungkook reportedly could not hold back tears as he heard lyrics they had performed for millions of fans worldwide now sung by his fellow soldiers, who had come to know him in his most human form, without makeup, without stage lights, just as Jungkook. And Jimin? He tried to keep smiling, to stay strong, and to be the comfort for everyone. But even in that smile, there were hints of something much deeper he was feeling. When a soldier asked, "What will you miss most about Jungkook?" he simply replied, "Everything." But not because he's Jungkook, because he's the one who's always there. Fans' reactions were no less emotional. Armies around the world picked up signals that this was a relationship more complex, deeper, and more emotional than what had previously been seen on camera. Many speculated that the military service period became a space where they could finally recognize and admit their feelings, free from public pressure or entertainment industry expectations. In an environment filled with physical and mental challenges, the bonds formed tend to be stronger and more sincere. Now, with their service nearly over, many questions linger in the air. Will Jungkook and Jimin continue to keep their privacy? Or will this new chapter reveal a more open version of themselves? Will there be emotional collaborations in music, or perhaps an official statement that addresses all the speculation? The world waits, with hearts pounding and mixed hopes, but one thing is certain: love, in any form, can no longer be completely hidden. These emotionally honest moments behind the military barracks fences have revealed a side of Jungkook and Jimin that had long been merely speculated upon. And when they return to the entertainment world, they will not only be welcomed as idols who served their country, but also as individuals who had the courage to express their feelings in silence, in loyalty, and in moving sorrow. The 5th Division may return to its routine without its 2 stars. But the story of love, sacrifice, and confession that once happened there will remain part of an unforgettable emotional history for the military, for the army, and for 2 hearts that finally opened up to each other. However, behind all these waves of emotion and speculation, we need to pause for a moment and ask a fundamental question. Is all of this actually true? Or are we becoming part of a narrative intentionally constructed to create sensation? The information about the hidden love confession between Jungkook and Jimin indeed spread rapidly through various media channels, from TikTok, YouTube, to viral tweets on Twitter and unofficial live stream video clips. However, it must be emphasized that up to this point, there has been no official statement from BTS, Big Hit Music, or the South Korean military representatives explicitly confirming this event. So, we need to ask, are we witnessing an emotional true story? Or are we trapped in a stream of narrative deliberately arranged to stir feelings and provoke public reaction? It is important to remember that BTS is not just a music group, they are a global phenomenon, representing the power of Korean pop culture with extraordinary appeal. So, it's not surprising if every move they make, even personal moments, easily turns into viral content, even when the sources are unclear and their validity remains questionable. Have we ever asked ourselves, where did this information come from? Who first spread it? Has the video we watched been edited in a way to construct a certain narrative? Was Jimin's phrase, "We understand each other," really said in a romantic context? Or has it been twisted to create a sense of curiosity? This is the moment to practice healthy skepticism. In a digital world that moves as fast as a blink of an eye, information can turn into disinformation in just seconds. So it's important to always ask, right arrow, what's the motive behind spreading this news? Right arrow, who benefits from a narrative like this? Right arrow, why are such deeply personal moments turned into public consumption? Right arrow, and most importantly, what if all of this turns out to be a media fabrication? We cannot turn a blind eye to the possibility that stories like this, no matter how touching and moving, may very well be part of marketing strategy, sensationalism, or simply the result of fans' overinterpretation. Is this truly a love confession or merely a manifestation of extraordinary friendship? Fans, or army, hold a dual role. They are not only consumers, but also disseminators of information. Thus, a moral responsibility rests on everyone who chooses to believe or share stories like this. We need to develop both digital and emotional literacy. Not everything that touches the heart is real. Not everything that goes viral is true.